All right, guys, welcome. We've got game 3 of Electric Elephant of the Scythe League. I've got Mr. Derp here with me. And
Hello?
okay, I thought my OBS crashed there for a minute. I'm glad it didn't. How are you doing this evening, Derp? Can you hear me?
How about yourself?
Okay, let's see if they know we've got the go-ahead to see it now. Let them know they can start bidding. Let's see, Salmon Dip opens with Recipe Mechanical at 1. Got some interesting combos in here, don't we?
Yeah, these are pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, if we look at our tier list, right, then Rust Mechanical comes in at S tier, as does Saxony Innovative with Crimea Engineering at A and Polania Industrial at B. But I'd say Polania Industrial is regarded as a higher B tier combo, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, these are close enough that it could almost be a straight up game without even bidding, I think.
Do you think then it will go pretty short here? I mean, we've got Recipe Mechanical already up to 6. Gar is happy with Crimea Engineering at 0.
Saxony Innovative can be pretty strong here, I think, because Plenty Industrial tends to, I don't know, it tends to be a bit vulnerable.
Is that who you'd pick on if you're Saxony in this game?
Yeah, probably. It depends. I think, well, Crimea could also be low power as well. So this could be interesting for Saxony. Rustfeed, I think, does deserve a significant big bid, though.
I think that's right. I mean, Recipe Mechanical, it's just hard to take down because it just combines really great speed with excellent coin production. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
flip on my overhead light here real quick. That's better. Hey Troy Nitro, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. That's good to hear. Okay, we've got Rust Mechanical up to 10, I see.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it should go much higher than that.
Would you take Polani Industrial at 0 right now?
Yeah, probably. I really like Pallini Industrial, though that Saxony Innovative it's kind of scary. It can definitely limit your ability to just jump around and grab encounters.
I'd like to point out for chat that Derp says Polania correctly, unlike yours truly who says Polania, which
I'm
is
just because I'm
is
from Chicago,
incorrect. No, you say it the right way.
Pallini.
Well, it's Polish, right? Polania,
Yeah, I guess so.
Poland, or was Polish what became Polish at some point. I don't know. I'm not great on my alternate World War I history. So we got Salmon Dip here, who's taken a little while to bid. Saxony Innovative's got to finish quickly with that bid, don't they?
Yeah,
I
I
mean, if
mean
the
it's
game
strong,
goes
but
long, Rustfiat's going to win that.
yeah, this is actually kind of a tough one to bid. I always find it hard to bid Saxony though. Because there's such a sharp turning point of like, oh, I can make my bid, and then oh no, I can't.
Yeah. There it was.
Okay.
That was pretty quick. Okay. Need to get the bids on the screen. And is Gar just Gar on? Yeah, it looks like he's just Gar on Scythe Digital. All right, let's get these bids on the screen. Just a second. So while I'm doing this, in your opinion, what if you had to say just on the bids, who has the advantage here? What would you say?
That's a good question. I don't know if I know.
Think they did a good job bidding?
Yeah, I think so. I think Crimea Engineering could have an advantage. Well, actually, maybe not. I think if Polanyi Industrial is clever about not exposing themselves too much, they could run away with the game.
Yeah, I feel like Polani Industrial is one of those that I always struggle to get the potential out of it. I know it can be a very strong combination. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
mean, if they just get like tier 2 and hide on lakes, and you know, that might be enough.
now we just got to wait for them to start this game here. Hey, Avid. Hope your game goes well, man. So let's see here. I mean, if Polania or Polania gets lucky with their encounters, if they're able to pick off early combats, they can end this game before Rust Mechanical starts to spread out. But if this game goes more than 15 rounds, I think Rust can make that bid without
Yeah,
a lot of trouble. Of course, we saw a bizarre Saxony innovative game last tournament where it went to I don't even remember how many rounds. It was like 17 or 19 rounds. I'm not even sure Saxony ended it. I think Nordic ended it, but Saxony had like 93 points and was in tier 3. It was one of the crazier games of the tournament. I don't know if you saw that one.
I think I recall that. Yeah. Uh,
So you think you know what someone's going to do, and then every once in a while somebody surprises you.
yeah, Gar tends to play a little outside the box, but it's usually pretty aggressive. So I'll be interested to see what he does.
I think he was on Electric Elephant on Saxony the last Electric Elephant game. I do not think it was the innovative Matt, but my memory is he struggled. I think he pulled fourth if memory serves. And it was one of those games where he attacked Tagawa early and some things didn't go his way.
Oh, right, I remember. I think I watched that one.
Yeah, I think the lesson from that game was you can't wait for too long to get your workers out of Saxony. If you're going to, especially in a bid game, and if you have a bid to make, you've got to get some early spread, right? Because you're not going to beat the other players just with stars and
Right.
coins in an all-out rush strategy.
Yeah, and the bidding makes that coin total. It's like, yeah, I just feel like that super rush strategy is hard to pull off as Saxony in bid games because the threshold is so tight
Right.
with coins.
It benefits if you're the lowest bid in the game as Saxony. I mean, if you're Saxony Engineering, you're the 0 bid, and you can end in 14
Right.
turns. You're gonna win. Just you are. But a little different when you have a 9-coin bid. So with Polania Industrial, it's one of the rare mats where I see people a lot of times go Riverwalk as the first mech. Are you
I,
a Riverwalk?
well, there's two different openings I like with it. One of them is Riverwalk, one of them Speed. Um, but it kind of depends a bit. Usually it's Speed. I feel like Speed is the safer option, I think. But there is a weird opening I know that I don't know how many people know about where you do Riverwalk first. And you can potentially get a mine, a Riverwalk, and Speed by turn 6, I think, or 7. So you can be like Riverwalking from the mine into people's bases. It's crazy. Like really early in the game.
And Rustfield is vulnerable to Polania's base. It doesn't come into play a lot, but it happens. They can get invaded. Oh, okay. I think the game just started. Great.
Yeah, one thing to consider for Rust Mechanical is they do tend to leave that metal open to Polania to steal. So if they aren't careful, they could get set back pretty bad.
Yeah, and you're of course talking about the fact that Russ on Mechanical likes to produce 3 times, build a mech, and then move to the farm.
Hmm.
3 more produces on that metal spot naturally gives enough metal for another mech, usually a speed mech. But that's vulnerable to Polania using submerged back. So we should see it produce out of Rustviad here. And I like 8-worker Crimea engineering. I've seen people do 3, but I always feel like 8 workers, get those 8 workers out quickly and get all your resources in the fewest number of produces.
Yeah, it really is not a meth that looks for tier 2 very much. Though you can get it for like
You can get it if you take the time to build some buildings.
I
But
think somebody mentioned it in this strategy thread of trading for oil twice or trading for opening. I just tried it recently and I was pretty pleased with it. It tends to get a little bit more coins, but it's a little bit slower. It's an interesting trade-off.
yeah, there's a strategy that takes about 17 turns with Crimea where you can get the build star out actually instead of the mech star, and you just go with 2 mechs. But it's a little delicate because it involves producing wood out on the map at fairly low power
Mm,
and no one really interfering with you. And it doesn't peak until around turns 14, 15. So Rustviat can actually end the game with this combination before you get there.
right.
Guard did this opening with, I want to say, Saxony Industrial last game where he started off with the produce action. What do you think about that?
I actually kind of like this one for innovative. Getting those upgrades out of the way is nice. I don't know.
Polani was looking for a structure. They got it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Structure bonuses on tunnels, which is not great.
I mean,
But
that's a great one, right? You take number 2 and number 3. Next turn, you trade for a food and a metal. You get you get an enlist, enough metal to produce and create a speed mech, and you've already got a mine.
right. I
I
could also see going to the factory, maybe. Just going for 2 mets, so like 2 more metal trades. That could
Yeah.
also work, taking the first two options.
And I mean, there's a good case to be made for that. Because if you go down to this village encounter, oh, the armory. Paid 2
That's
popularity for an
interesting.
armory. I guess worried about the power in this game? You can bet that Rusty is watching Polania very closely to try to decide what mechs they get.
Yeah.
It does look like Crimea is going to go with 8 workers.
This is an interesting innovative strategy because you can actually just stay at 2 workers. Um, it's a bit safer.
I think Polania is going to go the route you were talking about. Trade for 2 metal, produce. Trade for 2 metal, produce. It's 8
Mhm.
workers and go for the factory.
Getting that enlist early, though, would be very nice.
Russ Mechanical going with a pretty standard 8 worker strat. Going with that Riverwalk mech. Speed mech out for Crimea.
Yeah, pretty standard opening for engineering there.
Ooh, it's actually innovative with both
Interesting.
workers on the village. Well, I mean, he has an upgrade on his deploy, so he can trade into a produce deploy without having any workers on metal. I mean, maybe that's what he's planning on doing.
That last option's pretty nice, actually. I think I'd take that for sure.
And three oil's great, right? You've
Mhm.
got the trade action over the upgrade. So you could trade for your 2 metal that you were going to get anyway. You could trade for some food to combine with the one you have while you're getting
And
an
you
upgrade.
yeah, you can upgrade your enlist down to 1 with that 4 oil if you want.
At this point, do you go for enlist as Saxony innovative?
I think so. There's a good chance that you get something from encounters or
East farm or west farm? That's what Rusfield's thinking about right now. Gonna go for the east farm. Play it safe.
yeah, it's probably a good idea. Um, hmm.
Now, the sort of you could just say take 1, but number 2 gives you some security. You don't get a worker, obviously, but if you take the 2 metal, you've just got to do 1 produce before you can bail out and build a speed mech on your mountain if you need to.
Right.
So if you're worried about Polania, you take number 2. You just want, a total of 4 more coins and you're worried about making your bid, you take number 1. Because with this 8 worker strat, absent a popularity factory card or something like that, I don't see Rusviet getting into tier 2 with this strategy.
Right. Um, yeah, I'm just thinking about what structure would be useful.
I mean, you could get a
Mm,
monument, but you're paying 2 popularity and just going to be building 3 mechs.
right.
You won't be trading, you won't be upgrading. You don't need a mill. I mean, if you really want to get out on the board, I guess you could build a mine, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A mine can be really valuable late in the game, but it's not something that's like obvious, you know, at the start.
Rusty gonna just take the $2 in the pop. Worried more about the bid than Polani at this point. I don't know if that was the right call. Polania is going the speed submerge route. We are gonna see. Pretty sure we're gonna see a submerge mech out of Polania in 2 turns.
Yeah.
They are running a little low on coin though. Now down to 4. Build bonus is over the tunnels. So Lonnie would like it, I'm sure, if it were adjacent to tunnels, but it's not.
Yeah, it's actually a big deal because Polania is probably going to be the only faction to build. I mean, engineering might, but I mean, it's a difference of 4 points. It's actually kind of a lot.
Yeah. Rusty went with their first enlist. No surprise, they got the combat card enlist. This worker split always, I feel like, always tells you a lot about the strategy someone's employing with Crimea engineering. If you see a lot of workers on metal, you're talking about a mech star and usually rushing the game. You see a lot of workers on that farm, you may be in for setting yourself up for building later in the strategy.
This is interesting. Do you take the enlist, get a double enlist, just go really hard trying to rush? Honestly, it might not be a bad idea because you can get both cards and deploy on the same turn. Or
Yeah,
both
and you can pick up
enlists.
the popularity off the enlist bonus.
Right.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. You are going to need to produce. You can't. You
Oh,
still
he
don't
did
have
take
enough
it.
food with 1 produce. You're going to get enough metal for your remaining mechs with 1 produce, but you're going to need an upgrade if you're going to get by with that 2 food, which means you're going to have to produce 1 more time either way.
Oh no, it looks like Crimea messed up. They didn't take the pop.
On either produce or on either enlist?
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. Foundations, alright.
So Crimea takes what? Power and cards, it looks like.
Yeah. Also, I think they enlisted deploy first. If they had enlisted cards first from the encounter enlist, they would have gotten an additional card from their actual enlist.
So sort of a comedy of errors right there for Crimea.
Yeah, that's
Missing out on a
unfortunate.
card and an entire turn because, I mean, they have to trade for a pop. They don't really have a choice.
Yep.
That's brutal in a game like this. Russ just plugging away at list number 2 here.
Yeah, they gotta be careful. I guess they could. So plenty moves the factory. I guess they can deploy in time.
Well, no, because Polania moves this turn and then can factory card to the metal after the next.
Right.
Yeah, if Polania wants to steal the metal, they can.
Yeah, they would give up getting an encounter, but it might be worth it.
And we see the popularity trade out of Crimea like we thought. Saxony traded. Help me, I missed it. Saxony traded for 2 oil. This is their
They,
second upgrade off of that oil they had sitting on the ground. Then, yet, like you said, they did get their food to 1.
mhm.
This is a
They're
big
probably
turn.
gonna. So where do you go with their workers as Polania right here? I feel like that's always a struggle. Ooh, the tunnel. I think I probably would have stayed in the home base and just spread out between the two territories. Or maybe just gone all on grain.
Yeah, I like the ability to get out more mechs, even though you've just got the 1 popularity. But I mean, Saxony has the ability to attack you this turn.
Hmm.
They have the mechs. They have the upgrade. They can hit you with 3 units. You don't have Riverwalk. That's pretty crushing if all 8 of those workers get sent home, even if it's with your mech.
Hmm.
Because you
They're
either have to
basically
take them out
just,
onto the lake, or it's one whole move just to get back to that village.
yeah, you're tempting Saxony to attack you here. You know,
I like that factory card. I know it's not a popular one. You can run an engine off it, and I like that about it. It scares me right now. I was going to say it scares me because Polania just has workers on this mountain. But now that I think about it, if they're willing to not interfere with Russ and just let Russ do their thing, they can actually drop resources on that mountain and then start spreading out their workers and move those resources off the mountain with their mech.
right.
Russ is just tempting Polania to just do their worst here. And what am I talking
Yeah.
about? Polania can do both. They can give themselves resources and they can take Rustviets.
Yeah, I think the play is you trade for maybe some grain or with the factory card, and then you take Rustviet's metal with your mech and workers.
Yeah,
Even if it gets sent home, you can still do that play from your home base, which is it's pretty good.
yeah.
Oh, wait, can you hold on? If all 8 of the workers are on the home base, I don't think they can gain resources from the card.
That's correct. You'd miss the opportunity to trade the combat card for 3 resources. Yes.
I really want Saxony to attack here because Plane is going to deploy another mech. Staying at 4 workers is a little weird, but nice.
He's going to do it.
And get that enlist going, which is important.
Going to split the workers.
Okay.
Ooh. I don't know about this. I don't know about this worker split. I suppose if you don't produce 2 on that village, I suppose you could just produce 1 on that village and then produce again. Because if you go to 6, you'll need a pop to get to the worker star. And presuming that Saxony wins this battle, they're not going to have it. Man, if I'm Polani, I wish I'd left some workers on that village.
Went low with it. Plane could have won that if they have decent cards.
That's what Saxony needs, right? Saxony needs some early bluffs.
Yeah, that's pretty huge for Saxony.
This is Rustviet's game right here. Their fate is in Polania's hands. And I mean, if you get on that mountain, you can turn around very next turn. Well, you can't use your factory card again. And you're not going to be able to produce because you bumped a worker. But what you can do is No. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Saxony's enlist. Saxony was trying to decide, I presume, whether to enlist for combat cards or for coin.
I think the combat cards is the right call. They're already leading in coins right now, which is good.
Off those 3 upgrades Saxony's done so far. Still tied with Rustviet though, and only with a 3-coin advantage.
This is pretty good for Polania, actually. However,
They
they have to be
live.
careful
Yeah, you
because
gotta
they.
take 1 and 2, right? You can't leave. Well, you're gonna get a chance if you go 1 and 3. You're gonna get a chance to use the wood before Saxony can move again.
Right. The thing is, they can't trade though. Still.
Right.
So if they wanted to trade and list, they'd be wasting a trade.
Yeah. Good trade for a pop, I guess. But it's not as if you're going for a tier 2 strategy here. I mean, Rustviet's breathing a sigh of relief. At this point, I feel like this game is Rustviet's to lose. To have gotten this far in their strategy and to have no one interfere with them. I mean, don't get me wrong, Saxony's in a good spot, but Rustviet got over the difficult part just then.
Right. Yeah, that was probably the most vulnerable moment.
Probably the Riverwalk mech coming out of Crimea. Crimea with this setup. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that one turn lost by Crimea is actually a big deal. They could be moving and enlisting right now.
So what just happened is Crimea traded for enough food to complete their enlist. And that's what Saxony does. We were talking about earlier. They just take 1 worker instead of the full 2. To make sure
Yeah,
they can produce 1 more time without popularity. Although they're out of power, they cannot produce.
true, but Polania's got some nice grain for him waiting right there for the enlist.
Oh, brutal. Now with a power advantage, though.
Wow, really defensive movement there.
Picking up the encounter and bringing the workers to the village. Oh, wow. If you want tier 2, you can do it now. I feel like that 2 wood is just such an awkward option. There aren't many times in a game where 2 wood is that useful. Unless you've upgraded.
It's very true.
You're upgraded your build action. Oh, they pass on the pop.
That made it really hard for Saxony to win that combat, I think.
What was it? What did they take? It was
Gain 3 combat cards?
in 2 power?
No, it's the one where you look at opponents.
Oh.
But I think they had to look at somebody. It's bugged, so they had to look at an empty faction.
Well, you can look at whoever you want. It just always says you looked at Polania, right?
Oh, is that what it is? I don't think I've ever taken that option.
I have, and I've seen people do it. I've never seen the notification, but somebody always tells me it says you looked at Polania. But I've never seen the notification come up when someone else does it. That's what I hear.
Okay, so if you're Sax, do you 3 times attack Polania there?
What's available to me? I can't produce. I don't think so. I think I moved to the factory and try to get my workers out on the board. I'm not feeling very good about only having a 3-bit under Rust Mechanical at this point. I'm 5 down. I've got 2 stars. There's no clear target to pick on. I mean, here's the thing. Polani is not helping Saxony win by being all clustered together, but they're also not helping themselves win.
Right. They're kind of forced to be defensive right now.
As early as it is in the game, and as small as the point amounts still are, Polani is trailing Rustviet, even with the bids. They're trailing Saxony. The only faction they're actually ahead of right now is Crimea, and they might not be after this turn. Crimea choosing to split out their units.
Yeah, it's a bit vulnerable to Saxony.
You
Think
don't
maybe
need the metal, but you can have your pick of either the character or the mech that's on the wood space. They got their food, but now now they wish they'd traded for metal before, right? Because they can't.
right. Well, they just have to coercion one
Oh
more
yeah,
time.
okay. They can build the rest of their mechs, you're right.
Yeah, so Crimea, I feel like the better play would be to probably protect their character there. I don't know. There's a good chance I guess Saxony might attack the wood space. I don't know. 5 power to 0 power is a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
But they don't have scout yet,
Yeah,
so
Scout's about to
Crimea
come
is
out.
gonna be right. Like stopping Crimea from getting scout is kind of crazy.
And it's now or never. You either attack Crimea this turn or you don't attack them at all. And with Polania grouping up the way they're going to, it's going to be hard to take advantage of those combat stars. Because we know what Russ is going to do at this point. Russ is going to turtle till they have 3 stars, enlist, mech star, and worker star. And then they're going to come out and look to end the game with People's Army. Oh. Gonna go to the factory
All
and
right.
attacked. That is
That's pretty
bold.
good.
Maybe Saxony has some amazing combat cards here. Because I feel like if you're... And they do.
Wow,
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Crimea did not have a 5. That was actually super lucky by Saxony.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
That's massive.
I don't know that you can
Fortunately,
come back from that as Crimea.
so that makes me. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think maybe attacking Polania is still the better play because you can get the power to produce, and you're at 5 stars next turn
Yeah. If
with the worker
Saxony
and the
has an
mech star.
objective, they can win this game. And I mean, they've already turned in foundations. But if they have an objective, they can win this game in turn 11. And even if not, they can spend one more turn moving. Basically, everybody else has to hope that...
That's wow. That's interesting. That kind of tells me the factory cards aren't great.
Gotta be downright terrible. That's because you're only producing one more time, and you need your bottom row action. You don't.
Right.
You have the metal from Crimea. So he's planning on combining his... Well, no, you still have to use the bottom row action, and you can't use it if you use a factory card.
Yeah. And I mean, he's looking for something that gives him like 1 power. That's really all he needed.
Polania just gonna plug away with those encounters. I don't know. If I'm Polania right now, I think I sense the game is on borrowed time here. Maybe I start spreading a little bit. Not just to maximize my points, then maybe even just to set up an economy. Those workers can't do anything for me on a village.
Yeah, that mountain is also very vulnerable to Saxony. Though there aren't any other encounters left, really, that aren't.
Vulnerable to Saxony. But Rusty, it just has river walk and speed. They cannot take the factory. Crimea is out of reach of the factory. Polania can take the factory from Saxony. So Saxony goes to 5 stars right here. Polania can bump them off the factory and take them out of the lead. But at that point, all Saxony has to do is spread and get a territory-based objective. And I think they win this game.
Yeah, Saxony still needs a power, though.
Oh, that's why you were talking about power, because they need the power to produce.
Right.
Okay, so that's why they took the factory card they did then. They're going to use the factory card to produce even though they don't have power. And then they're just going to forget producing next turn and go straight into deploying a mech with the metal they already have.
Actually, they could technically end the game next turn because they could get Worker Star, another combat off of Crimea, and an objective, their second objective.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was wondering what would that objective be.
I don't know.
You don't have Riverwalk, right? No, you do have Riverwalk. But you couldn't get 3 Forest and attack Crimea. You need another 5. Let's see if they can do it. They're 3 behind Rusviet. The game ends right now. In a tie, they would win based on units.
Yeah, I can't see what kinds of objectives they would get, though. I can't think of very many.
You can't get diversify. Got workers just on... Oh, we see a dry bolster out of Saxony. I thought for sure they were going to use that factory card. Maybe afraid that that Crimea is gonna take that metal back from them. I'm not sure there's much risk of that.
Rusviet could, maybe.
It's true. 1 unit. Saxony's slowing down the game a little bit to play it safe.
That 3 power is pretty valuable right now.
They might not have another objective they can do. There it is. Polania taking the factory from Saxony. So Saxony has 3 power to work with now. Polania has enough wood to build a building. They'd have to build it on that factory because once again they brought all their workers. Saxony not willing to call a bluff, maybe didn't have the cards to. Polania is saving all their power. Rusviet now in a 10-point lead over Saxony.
I don't know if I've ever seen that on the factory before.
8 workers.
8 workers, a character of mine in a mech.
It may be a first. Hard to believe there are any firsts remaining in this game. Okay, what did Rusviet do? Rusviet just got out Township.
Yeah. That factory is going away pretty soon.
Polania has maybe one more turn with that factory, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't look like Saxony's going to end the game. Although with Saxony going to 5 stars, you're Rusviet.
Oh, you could suicide into him.
And pick up an easy combat, a cheap combat if nothing else. But then you kind of risk exposing your character to retaliation. If Saxony's able to move and spread out workers and hit you. Although you'd be sitting on 6 power and 9 combat cards.
Yeah,
Saxony's willing to go to 5 stars here.
Yeah, Rusviet might be able to force the end of the game on their next turn. Or at least force Saxony back home.
Well,
That'll be
Polania can't move. Saxony can move. Do you block that village tunnel right now? It doesn't matter, does it? Rusviet can bring a mountain mech down there to bump a worker and then take the character, really the character or the village mech down to the... Oh, look at this. Polania with no Riverwalk though. Three tunnels for Polania. Now within that bid of Rusviet, but Rusviet retakes that village. And it's and that's, there goes Polania's lead. You got to do something here if you're Russ. You can't.
yeah, getting your last mech would be a mistake. I think you got to attack the factory.
You got to take the factory, and you've got to force Saxony home, I think.
Yeah, it's 2 combats. It's easy.
Yeah, one of them's basically free. And you know Saxony can't attack you on the factory. Just don't do the combats out of order, right?
Right.
I mean, Polania's got quite a bit of power. Rusviet may have to bring 2 units. Feel good about that win. No, they're going to do what we talked about. And they do pick the factory combat first. Polania just used the factory card. If Russ goes all out here, Polania can counter and take that factory back. Russ does not have People's Army yet.
I think almost no matter what Polania spends here, Saxony's still going to be able to beat him on the tunnel on their turn.
Thing is, if Russ loses on the factory, they have to throw enough to beat Saxony on that wood spot where Saxony beats them.
Right.
Because Saxony would go to 9, which is enough to tie Polania and win the unit tiebreaker. So Russ has to win this factory fight or the game's essentially over.
Oh no, you went too low.
Oh no. This is game over.
You shouldn't have skimped.
This is Saxony. Saxony was gonna win. Unless their cards are just terrible.
Actually, Polania is gonna win. Right? Because they have a -9 on Saxony.
Yeah, but Saxony's gonna pick up 3 from this star, which is gonna put them both. Oh, you know what? You're right. I was subtracting 9 from 39 and getting 33. It's late where I am.
You're on East Coast, right?
I am. It's just an hour ahead of you, but yeah, Saxony had to throw the combat.
Yeah, that's funny.
Of course, if he was doing my version of math, he wouldn't have.
And tactical mastery. Wow. So if Rusviet actually won that first combat, he would be in such a better position right now.
Well, the game would be.
Oh man.
Game would.
I mean, they're still in a commanding position at 46. That's pretty good.
So with Saxony, you need 10 points, right?
Right, and I think they can do that.
Or no, you don't need 10. You need 9 points because you win the unit tiebreaker, right?
Right. I think. Well, Saxony can attack Rusviet on the woods.
Yeah. So can you pick up 10 points doing that? Is the question.
They can get 5 territories into combat and take away one of their resources. So yeah, I think they got it. I think that's it. Unless they have bad cards. But they would have to have only 2s.
Yeah. He's doing the math right now, so let's see. You've got to get it to at least 42 to beat Polania. But you've got to get to 40. So you've got to pick up at least 8, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they got it.
But then you have to take away. You have to clear.
Oh, he could actually attack Polania on the factory. Wait, can he? No, he can't. Almost.
No, it has to be Rusviet.
Oh, wait, he could actually. If he did a mech and then a worker and then another mech.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
So 2 options. But then Rusviet's I don't know if that's enough to beat Rusviet. Maybe.
So you're 13 down on Rusviet. You got to get within 3 because you have the unit tiebreaker. So you need to pick up 10 vis-a-vis Rusviet. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, attacking Polania would do it.
I think either works actually.
Yeah, just a normal spread where you hit Rusviet or taking the factory from Polania probably ends this game with a win. And of course, Crimea's locked into last at this point. So unless they lose, no, even if they lose the factory. So here's the question. If Saxony attacks Rustviet and Rustviet loses a spot and loses 1 resource, that's 3 points, right? Which drops them down to 44.
Yeah.
Okay. You take away 12 from 44, you get 32, and Rustviet bumps to 3rd. He's going for that wood spot, right?
Yeah.
Gonna attack
Looks like
Rustviet. Or Polani on the Mountain's another option, but you need to take that spot away from Rustviet, don't you?
Right. I mean, also, it's not king making, but I feel like attacking the leader is sort of, I don't know, sportsman-like, I guess.
Yeah, I think part of it is just about which move did you see. Oh no.
Wait, what's this?
Is this enough?
Okay. I think so? Yeah,
I think
it
it's
should
enough.
be.
It should be enough.
Wait.
They're 7 behind, and they should pick up 1 more territory and 3 more points. It gets them to 45. That should be enough.
I wonder if they didn't see the factory attack then. That would have been a way to end it. Oh, they just double attacked. Hold on. They didn't spread.
No, they got it. They got it.
Okay. They got it.
They got it by 1 coin over Rustviet. Rustviet loses 12, takes 2nd place. Polani in 3rd, and Crimea in 4th. That was a fast game.
Wow. Yeah. Nice job, Saxony there.
You got to take your hat off to Gar. He Saxony twice in a row, and this time it worked out for him.
Yeah, that combat win against Crimea was the turning point. Crimea not having a 5 almost won Saxony the game there.
Yeah. If Saxony loses that fight, it's good night nurse. I don't think they come back from that. But that was they gambled and they won, and that's what you got to do sometimes in these games is gamble. Well, Derp, thanks for joining me for this game. Appreciate it. Had a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. Congrats to Gar, and we will catch you guys later.